What's going on, guys? Haven't made a video in quite some time. Been working on some projects, been improving some of the indicators and working on things. However, I did want to make a recap of today and the beautiful trade. So, using the indicators, we can take a trade from where it breaks down all the way down to the level that we expect. So just getting into it, as it plots the levels automatically for the week, right? We use these levels throughout the entire week. And this blue level up here, this is the failure zone, right? If price is going to fail, this is more than likely where it's going to fail from. And as you can see, structure aligns with that level. We'll talk about that in a second. But if it breaks down from here, we do expect it to retest this area, which is the decision point. So a lot of times it will come down to retest. And the fact that it did that the day before and really couldn't create a new higher high up here, we knew that if it comes back down to here, it's most likely going to cut through. And if it cuts through this decision point, that means that it's going to go lower, and our main target is this pink level down here. So these are nice rotation plays. When they appear, you can take advantage of them and be confident in taking those trades. So like I said, the main goal is from this level all the way to the pink, and we did take the trade. So the day before, it closed out making this high, trapping longs, right? Then it made a higher low, and then it made a lower high. So this is where things start to get interesting. Obviously, we're not taking trades at this time. It's closer to the end of day. So typically you're pretty much shutting it down unless you're a scalper, but we want to recognize what happened here. So this is a lower high, so alarm bells should start ringing right here because structurally it's doing something different. It should be creating a higher high here. Then it comes to make a lower low, and that's where it closes out for the day. So then starting in Asia, it pumps up. So you know that if it makes a lower low, the next leg in structure that you're expecting is a lower high. Right? It already failed to make a higher high here, so you're expecting a lower high now. So this higher high that it made back here, we're going to drag that out. Now this is going to be basically our breakout level, right? Price broke out and came back in the range, broke out again, but did not let these traders out. They are trapped there. And it induced more longs, so you have a second round of trapped traders. And then it came back in the range, and then it tried to break out again, and once again did not let any of these traders out, and it trapped more traders and then came back in the range. So any action above that level is trapped. So as long as price stays below that, you know it more than likely won't come to let these guys out without taking liquidity lower and squeezing them out, right? Now on the flip side of that, this internal higher low is the last low that failed. It swept it, came back in the range, and then it created that lower high that we were talking about. So now this is your death line. So you know that if we don't come back up here to let these guys out, they're trapped. There's no reason to come back up here now. You're either waiting for price to then break this death line, because we know that once they break down, that is basically your signal to take it lower, right? So we do have this little sideways accumulation, this little coil going sideways. So that is exactly what you want to see for this nice expansion move. And as you can see, the structure the lower high aligns with the indicator level, giving you a real confidence that this is going to play out, or that you know where it's going, right? We did have a previous day low right here. So that's going to be your main target, or that's where you're going to partial. And then you're going to leave runners, or your main target would be this pink zone here. Now, obviously, it can go lower, and we do have levels lower in case it runs for extremes. But for the majority of this, we tend to focus on these levels because this is where a lot of rotations and a lot of expansions occur. So if you're entering here, that is enough, right? Taking it down there, even to a previous day low, it's enough. So enabling one of our other indicators here. Let's let that load up, and we get a ton more information. You get to see what the previous daily profile was. So we know that we had 3 days of bullishness. Obviously, we're at all-time highs here, and typically after 3 or multiple days of bullishness, you're gonna get that bigger retracement, right? A nice downward move, and vice versa. And this also closed in breakout as well. So we know that it's either going to swipe previous day high one more time, or it is going to fail to take it and take the opposing liquidity out. So that's what that information gives. And then it also gives all your levels as well: the high of week, the high of month, the weekly highs, the daily levels, all that good stuff. So you know that it is failing to get above previous day high. So that's number one. You have trap traders here. Number two, it's making the high of week and the high of the month and the high of day, right? So you want to sell high and bring it lower, right? So it's already giving you the structure. And then you also have your EMA here. So as soon as price breaks the EMA, that is your entry. Now you can drill down to a lower time frame once you have your thesis in play. Now it's just about going to whatever entry time frame you use. I'm typically either on the 2 minute, the 3 minute, or the 5 minute. But on the 3 minute, we can see, we know once you enter, because you have your bias, you have your plan, you have the structure, you know that your stop is going above this high right here, right? That's the last lower high. You don't want that high to get taken. The whole idea is that these traders are trapped and they shouldn't come to let them out. So that's where you're going to put your stop automatically. So now where do we enter? So we like to see displacement, and that's where the colors come in on the candles. But this is occurring in Asia, and a lot of times you may not get high volume. You'll get a big move, but it may not be with enough volume for like the candle to change colors to pick that up. So you have to keep that in mind. But typically, so my displacement candles are purple, like this one here. So I look for those at the beginning of the moves, but again, this is Asia. Now the main thing I'm looking for is the 20 EMA to get broken, and that is my entry. Once it gets back under the 20 EMA, then it should be flipping. That's the beginning of the flip of the EMAs to the downside. So it should expand from there. Again, we shouldn't come back up here anymore, right? That's the whole idea. So you can clearly see entry is on that 3 minute candle, stop is at this high, and like I said, you can target previous day low, but our main target is the pink level from the indicator, and we know that it did hit, and it will typically hit from that area. But I would highly recommend taking a partial at previous day low for sure, right? So let's go ahead and get this out the way, and now let's look at some of our other indicators at the bottom here. Let me go ahead and put a vertical line right on that same candle. So as it's breaking the 20 EMA, now we look at our bottom pain indicators to see what is going on. So we know that it flipped bearish here on this bluish candle, right? That's what that means. And then you also have this indicator to visually show you where it flipped bearish. We're not necessarily going to jump in on that candle. It's still above the 20 EMA. It could bounce around here and make another small little high. We don't know yet. We just know that this is the vicinity that we're going to place our stop as long as we get that entry, right? So that would be an early entry. And then on that candle, you know, it already flipped bearish. So shorts are valid now. You're just waiting on that entry. And right there on that candle that broke the 20 EMA, you can see that the real bearish volume came in. And that is another confluence there. And then the oscillator is also conducive for shorts as well. And there's a couple other indicators. We have a bunch actually, but they all pretty much tell you the same story. I don't want to make the chart look too congested. But the colors and everything pretty much tell you all the information. It's not there to look pretty. It's there to tell you what the market is doing, right? So you can get that information, perceive it properly, right? Even if you were bullish here, it's telling you all the information to be careful and to not take longs, right? So at least you can stay out the market until you see something bullish. It's all bearish structure here. Now, we did take the trade. Let's go ahead and let me see where my snapshot is. Oh, it's not letting me paste the image. Let me do this here. Let me do this. Bear with me for 1 second here. All right, so this is the trade. As you can see, I did enter a little bit early just because I knew that I was going to break down, but I always tell others to wait for that 20 EMA to get broken for verification. I did jump in. Stop was already at that high, so very, very tight, small risk. And I pretty much let it run. So again, the target was previous day low, which this low right here just missed, and then it started pushing back up. And I knew it was going to come down further. However, this is like close to 2 in the morning. I did wake up and I saw where it was, and I started trailing super tight here just to take the gains, because that's enough as is. We were all the way at the top, as you can see, and we did it barely missed previous day low. Otherwise it would have took us out right there. But I did decide to close the trade early just because you're in the gains. You got to take it. You still, even though you have a really good idea of what's going on and where it's going, and you have your placements, you're in the money. So you don't know if they're going to do one more move up to bring it all the way back up, but and then come back down. You don't want to really be in big pullbacks. So we took the money, right? And I did send, just so you guys know, let me pull up another screenshot. Let me see if it'll let me paste this guy. It will. So this is what I sent the guys in the Discord. So you can find an entry, and then this is where it's coming. So as you can see, that's exactly how it played out, right? So the indicators really tell you the story of where it's going, where it's failing from, and it's just a matter of pinpointing an entry and then taking your partials along the way. So very good stuff. And all the things that I just mentioned, it won't let me post that one. So let me take a screenshot. And I will always like mark up the charts and everything that I pretty much said today. I like to annotate it and post it so that you can understand. Nice AMD pattern as well. So you can really see what's going on and use the indicators to get these bigger moves and take advantage of them when they appear in the market, right? So really good stuff, really good setup, and really good trade. Clearly it is coming down and you shouldn't be longing today, and the indicators will help you with that thesis as well. We also have, let me turn this guy off and this guy. This indicator does plot levels, but it doesn't plot until 3. And as you can see, it came down to this level where you would look for a bullish reaction from, and you did get a bullish reaction at the open. However, we know that it's not going to come back up, and it can potentially come back to this area where these 3 lines are. This is another decision point, but it failed to come back up there and started rejecting again. And as you can see, it gives you levels to look for a reaction or a reversal. It failed, kind of sliced through this level, but you know that this extreme level is typically where price is going to go, and it hit it perfectly and you get a nice reaction. So if you're looking for longs, you know to look for it at this level. It fails, so if it fails, it's more than likely going to come to the next level, so you're not getting in the way. And then you can clearly see there's no bullish reactions there at all. There's nothing going on even with our PL3 indicator, and it comes down, and now you can see finally you get your bullish reaction for a long. Now you have to be careful of what type of trades that you're going for. Some people like to scalp, some people like to look for bigger moves. We definitely want to identify these type of expansions and then hit them correctly. So this is a PL3 indicator. As you can see on the hourly time frame, there's nothing bullish about that. So each and every start to the hour, you're not getting in the way and trying to long because there is no bullish structure there at all, right? So really good stuff. The indicators really help you figure out what's going on in the market and make better decisions. So that being said, I'm going to post a link to the Discord in the description, and I'm also going to instead of, I do have a subscription for the indicators, but I didn't have lifetime access previously, but I'm going to open that up. So anybody who wants lifetime access, it's going to be really affordable, and you can get the information that you need and study all the schematics, PDFs, and diagrams, and all the charts that I place with annotations, just like I showed. And you can really learn some stuff, and then you'll have access to ask questions 24/7 at all times. And if you would really like that, really like to learn some stuff, definitely feel free to jump in and take advantage of that lifetime access. I don't know how long I'm going to be making that available. Right now it's subscription based monthly, but I will open it up just to help out, because I know that things can get costly paying monthly for this and that, and trying to learn and then failing, it becomes difficult, and then things start piling on. So if you really have an opportunity like this to get some indicators that really give you some value and really show you what's going on, it's a good thing to take advantage of, right? So I know a lot of people tried to long today, and the advantage of these indicators would have told you to stay out the way if you're trying to long, or you would have capitalized on the shorts. So that being said, have a good one. If you have any questions, for sure, jump on in and let's get this thing going.